I am director of the Counseling Center here at Marshall, and my name is Candace Layne. Our mission is we are here for you, and all of our services and programs surround that mission and that saying. Even students can tell you that if they see Counseling Center, you're going to see we are here for you. And it's not just a phrase or a slogan or just a cool name for a brand to spin off we are, but it's serious, that we really want students to know that we're here, we're available, and we do a lot of outreach, not just counseling services. So we want to make mental health kind of like cool, you know, to learn about and to get into the whole mission to help stop the stigma. In Appalachia, we are proud people, we are hardworking people, and oftentimes we're very resilient. So mental health, that topic isn't one that many people are probably just chatting about all the time in Appalachia. So I would think that statistics are fairly high, but they're going to seem lower because in Appalachia, we're trying to break that stigma, and that's some of our push here in the center. We want people to talk about mental health more, and that's something that we find in Appalachia or sometimes in minority cultures or communities that we tend to hide our mental health concerns, or if we're experiencing symptoms, we may push through them, but not to the point that we're seeking help. So I think in Appalachia, mental health, it's kind of severe. I think if you were to look in the community, it's very difficult to get a counseling session. It's very difficult to find a psychiatric appointment, and you're going to wait probably, on average, 6 to 8 weeks. And so that right there tells you how there's so much of a need for more mental health concerns in here in our local area and our tri-state because of the number of people experiencing difficulties. Seasonal affective disorder is something that we can all experience. It's something that if you already have an existing mental health diagnosis, that it can cause dips in mood or an increase in symptoms. So it can, everyone can experience it. And for example, many of us that may not even have mental health diagnoses or concerns, think about how you feel in the winter when the seasons change, when it becomes darker. I know me, I'm pretty outgoing and social. I do not do as much in the winter. I get more tired in the winter months. Our bones and joints ache if you're in the 30s plus age group. So there's a lot of different things that most people experience during that time. You can turn on social media during the time change, and many people are complaining, or they're tired, or they're sluggish. So a lot of things come into play with seasonal affective disorder. It's the weather change. It starts to get colder. It starts to get darker very, very early. We go from summer months when it's 8:30, before it gets dark, to 5:30 to 6 now. So we're losing a good amount of daylight, which has a lot to do with it. Also, people tend to stay in their homes more during winter months, which we're not going out and getting sun. We're not going out and getting that vitamin D. We're not going out and having human interaction which is key to all humans. We need interaction with others. We have 2 big holidays in the winter months. We have Thanksgiving, and we also have Christmas, which joyous times for most people, terrible times for some. It's a time when people often do life reviews and go back to their childhood and think of things that may be good or bad. Also, we have grief that usually surfaces or resurfaces during the holiday months. So all that comes into play with seasonal affective disorder.
Being supportive is one of the biggest things that a family member or a loved one or a friend can do for you. Being able to ask for help also is a big deal. It's a two-way street. So be open and honest with family members so that way that they're able to support you in a good way and get the help you need.
Sometimes letting someone know how you're feeling can be very beneficial and very, very important.
Friends, families, and loved ones can help their loved ones cope by letting them know that they're there for them, but more importantly, physically showing up and being present. That's a lot more impactful than just a vague, I'm here for you. Stay in touch, text, a call, a letter, Any of these things are really impactful for someone who is going through seasonal affective disorder.
We work with students on a variety of strategies to get and work through grief through the holidays. We've even had some groups here on campus with, working with students who have experienced loss and how to get through that during the holidays. One thing that we encourage students to do is to reframe it. How can we remember our loved ones during that time? What can we do to start a memorial? Whether it's lighting a candle during Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner, whether it's creating a scholarship if you have the funds to do that, whether it's just donating something in that person's name. We really challenge our students to do something that's giving, that's fulfilling, and it also helps them remember their loved one. What that does is helps them reframe it, because it's moving us from just focusing on the loss to focusing on doing something positive through that loss. And that's, helps us with cognitively in our thoughts about loss and how we can reframe and change that. I also recommend people to open up about it. Losing a loved one hurts, and it's okay to tell someone about that. There's definite symptoms, there's definite behavioral changes that a person themselves can notice or other people might notice. One big one is energy.
Lack of motivation, wanting to be in bed all day long, feeling like you don't want to be around people, withdrawn from people, as well as, inability to sleep or sleeping too much, unable to focus, unable to concentrate, recall information.
Also a lack of hygiene. I've had some people explain to me that depression feels like having the flu. And if you've ever had that, it's awful. You don't want to move, your body hurts, your head hurts, you don't feel well. So when it begins to affect your outside life and your daily functioning is when we really want to notice and reach out to someone, or if you're noticing that in a family member or friend. And we want to ask people, how is your mental health? How is your stress level? How are you functioning? Those are specific questions that it kind of backs a person up into like, oh, they're really wanting to know about my mental health, not just how I am. But it also helps that person to feel more comfortable to open up. And it feels like, wow, they're really asking me how I'm doing with my mental health and function. They must care. So that alone can even help people open up more about it.
In our culture, a lot of help seeking is like stigmatized as bad. So letting your loved one know that, hey, it's okay to go talk to a therapist. It's okay to call a crisis line. It's okay to talk about these things with me. Those are really helpful to kind of destigmatize seasonal affective disorder, depression, anxiety, and things like that.
Tips for coping with seasonal depression. Number one, I would have to say exercise. When you're feeling sad or depressed, it's always good to get up, go for a walk, a hike, or a jog if possible. Another tip is light therapy. Light therapy lamps can be purchased very cheap online, and it is the #1 recommended treatment for individuals that experience seasonal affective disorder. Another avenue is vitamin D. If we can supplement our diet with foods rich in vitamin D or take vitamin D supplements, it tends to help as well.